Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm just going to give it a couple seconds while people find their way to the video. I'm so happy you're here. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm in South Texas. It's a little warm today. It's summertime. But let me know that you're watching. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you. Diana, welcome. Good to see you. Bartender's daughter, good to see you again. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Lois is watching from Vancouver Island. Hi, Joe. Welcome. Kathy's in Western New York State. Bartender's daughter's in Chicago. Diana's in humid Arkansas. And Michelle is watching from New Jersey, but may get called away. That's why we do this on YouTube. You can come back and watch whenever you want. And welcome also Joe in a very hot UK. Good to see you. Welcome also to people watching on the replay. Do comment and let me know where you're catching this from, whether it's live or on the replay. Leela's in Eugene, Oregon. Lisa, good morning from Honolulu. Good morning, Lisa. Northern California. Hi, Maureen. Good to see you. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being here today. This is our monthly free live play date. I'm Kelly with Collage-Lab, and we do this about once a month. And I'm so happy that you are here. My slide didn't say what I thought it was going to say, but that's okay. If you registered for today's play date, you don't have to be here live, but I am going to do a drawing at the end of our session, and I've got a great giveaway for somebody that registered. If you're watching on the replay, sorry, but that's okay. You're gonna have fun today. You're gonna get something out of this. I'm Kelly. I am a mixed media collage artist. I am in Rockport, Texas, which is on the Texas Gulf Coast, just north of Corpus Christi. And I've been teaching collage for longer than I care to admit. I founded Collage-Lab just over 5 years ago. If you are brand new to Collage-Lab, welcome. I'll tell you a little bit about what we have going on, a variety of courses, challenges, and a fabulous membership program. And I'll tell you how you can get involved. These free play dates are one way, absolutely. And so this is just a little example of what we're going to create today. I'm calling this project Hue-La-La. We're going to be playing with color, and I'll explain it all in a little bit, but just to whet your appetite, that's what we're going to be creating. I do want to mention Collage Coaching Week. It starts a week from Sunday, July 20th. And what is Collage Coaching Week? Collage Coaching Week it's a big event. I haven't done it yet this year. This will be the only time you can catch it live in 2025. For Collage Coaching Week, I go live every single day for a week, Sunday through Saturday, and I cover all sorts of things that you're going to want to know about collage. If you sign up, if you've already signed up, thank you. And if you sign up during today's session or shortly thereafter, I'm going to give you the early bird bonus because I haven't sent it out yet. It'll probably go out this evening. So anybody that signs up before I send that out will get 7 really fun color warm-up collage projects. A little booklet I've put together called Color Wins. Let me tell you a little bit about Collage Coaching Week. So for 7 days, I go live every single day. On one day, I tell you and show you about all the different kinds of adhesives. So no matter how long you've been doing collage, you probably are still eyeing a few things that you haven't tried yet. You'll see somebody mention Yes Paste, and you're like, should I try that? Or gel medium, or rice paste, or PVA. I'm going to show you exactly how each of those adhesives works, what I recommend them for, what kinds of papers they work best for, the whole 9 yards, a whole day about adhesives. And then I'm going to share with you all about cutting, whether it's scissors or blades or some other cool tools that are out there. We're going to learn all about cutting, how to do really fancy, detailed, fussy cutting. I'm going to share with you about materials, how to find really great magazines and books for collage, how to organize them, sort them, how to keep track of them all. And if you're not into found materials, we'll spend an entire day making our own collage materials. Some of them will be on the jelly plate, but I've got a bunch of other ways that we're going to create our own unique collage papers. And then we're going to get into mark making and mixed media and how we can really elevate our paper collage by adding paint and ink and marks and a whole lot of other things. On the 5th day, you are going to get my 6 collages in 60 minutes workshop. And it's really a jam-packed little mini lesson in composition. And you're going to learn to make 6 different kinds of compositions in just 1 hour. And then on Friday, we will cover craftsmanship, finishing your work, things like that, adding professionalism to your collage work and the importance of a daily practice. So if you are interested, it is just $10. All of the replays will be available through the end of the month, so you don't have to attend any or all of them live. I always say I'm the only one that has to be there all 7 days live. The times are scattered kind of throughout the week so that we can hit different time zones, because we've found that our community is all over the world. And so sign up, join us for Collage Coaching Week. And like I said, if you sign up before this evening, I'm in Central Time in the US, I will throw in that Color Wins workbook, which has got 7 fun color warm-up exercises that'll get you started and will keep you going. And I always like to share a little bit about what's going on inside our membership, because that is such a big part of what Collage-Lab is now. And so last month, for our monthly challenge in the membership, I challenged our members to create striped collages or use stripes. Really some amazing works came out of that. So if you're, in a slump, add some stripes, see how it works out for you. This month's challenge, I'm not going to explain in great detail, but if you're anything like me, I grew up on game shows in the 70s and 80s. And so our challenge in the membership this month is based on the game show Match Game. It is going to be so much fun. Also inside the membership, we get together once a month for a fabulous conversation. There is nothing like getting together with a group of like-minded people that understand why you stop and pick up a paper scrap out of the parking lot. These people get you. They are your people. And we have a great conversation each month. This month, we are going to talk about when we finally, or if we're not there yet, when we might put the title of artist on ourselves, when we're calling ourselves an artist. And so I'm really looking forward to hearing everyone's input on when they started calling themselves an artist, and sometimes imposter syndrome and other past things come up, but we are all creative. And so that's going to be a great conversation. Last month, our mini workshop in the membership, we created what I called vintage sass. We took old photos, created faux cabinet cards that would also function as memes. So if that sounds interesting to you, you might be interested in our membership. And then Elevate is the part of our membership where each quarter for 3 months, we do an intensive masterclass. We just finished up 3 months of working in series in collage, and the works that my members created are just amazing. I'll be sharing some of them very soon here on YouTube. And yesterday we started this quarter's masterclass, and we're playing with abstract collage for the next 3 months. So that's all inside our membership. The best part of the membership is the people, though, the community. They have named themselves the Lab Rats, and they are an amazing, amazing group of people. Many of them are here today with us on this YouTube Live. And here's just a few pictures of some of the Lab Rats. We've got our own private community on the same website as our courses. And so you will see people in the live Zoom sessions. You will get to know them commenting and sharing their work in our private forum. And that's a little bit about the membership. So today's play date, our Hue-La-La. It's a variation of a grid journal exercise. And let me show you what we're going to do. Let me go ahead and hop over to my work table. All right. This is a sample of what we're going to be creating today. And you're going to say, Kelly, that doesn't look like a grid journal. Well, I decided to mix it up. And instead of using squares, we're going to use circles. And not just to make it a little bit different, but also to kind of trick our mind into creating a little bit differently. When you draw a bunch of squares in your sketchbook, you are going to tend to use a lot of horizontal lines. You're going to tend to use a lot of squares and rectangles. And so I thought if we would draw circles and do our little collages in these circles, it would trick our mind into being a little more creative. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how I put this together. And I have a bunch of circle punches. These are my favorite kind. This one is okay, but and I've got a bunch of different sizes. This one is 2.5 inches. And so I was able to cut out 2.5-inch circle and just trace that, use that as my template. But if you don't have a circle punch, no fear, no worries. Find something that is about that size, that's round, that you can trace around. And I've got this pencil cup, old tin can, that is like almost exactly 2.5 inches. So I'm going to trace around that. I think I can fit 5 circles on this little sketchbook. This is a 5.5 by 8.5-inch mixed media sketchbook. And so I'm just going to trace around this with a Sharpie so you can see my circles. And let's see if I can not make a huge mess out of simple little circles. So if you're playing along, go ahead and find something round to trace, or cut out a 2.5-inch circle or thereabouts, 2.5 inches. You want to give yourself some space to create in. So many things in my way, folks. All right, here's number 4 and number 5, which actually that's exactly how many fit on this page, and that is the perfect number for what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to pick one color. Actually, I'm going to back up a second. First thing I like to do, whether it's grid journal or something like this, I like to make a mark. I like to get something in those circles right away so that I'm not treating them like they're precious. And so I'm just going to take a China pencil, and I'm just going to do some scribbles. And these may get covered up, but I just want to get something down first. Now, again, because it's in a circle, I am actually creating different kinds of squiggles than I would in a grid journal. Next, we're going to pick a color. And so the fun thing about this exercise is you can do it over and over again with different colors. And so I'm going to do blue, and I'm just going to use craft paint today. This is Apple Barrel Craft Paint matte acrylic, and the color is Blue Kazoo. So I'm going to shake that up, and that is going to be my base color today. Just need one color and some black and white. So again, I've got the Apple Barrel Craft Paint. I'm just going to put a little bit of black here, put a little bit there, and I've got some white as well. Not doing any real fancy mixing. We're just gonna feel it up. So a blob of white and a little bit of white in the black there. I'm gonna make a gray out of that. And then I'm just gonna grab a cheap brush, and I'm going to, before I put anything in my circles, I'm going to just give you a little color mixing lesson or color terminology lesson. Hue is the word for the color, the plain old, color out of the tube. Your plain color. It could be a color you've mixed, but when I look at that and I say that's blue, that is the hue. Now, if I'm going to mix some of the blue, I'm going to mix some in with the white. Do this with a palette knife. I'm just going to do it with the brush because I really don't need to make a lot of this with these tiny little circles. So I'm going to mix the blue and the white. And so when you mix your color with white, you create a tint. The more white you have, the lighter it is. The less white, the darker, obviously. And then if I mix some of my blue with black, I'm going to create a shade. So you do just a little bit of black or a lot of black times how dark you want that blue to be. That's pretty dark. this is the shade. So that's a very dark blue. And then the other thing we will mix is I'm going to mix the black and white together and make a gray. They're craft paint, so they don't mix beautifully, but they'll work for our purposes because our purpose is to play. So I'm going to mix that gray, and then I'm going to put some blue in there. Mix the blue with the gray. And this is a tone. So it's not quite as dark as the one I mixed with black. It's a very gray color. It doesn't have a lot of blue in it. I may add a little blue when I put them in the circles. So that's the basis for what we're going to start with our circles, is just get a little bit of paint down in the pure hue, in the tint, in the shade, and the tone. And I'll show you what we're doing in the fifth circle in just a minute. So I'm just going to take that blue and I'm going to pick a square and I'm just going to put some pure blue down. Maybe I'll get a little bit right out of the bottom. Kind of mixed it up here. Put down some blue. Got those round edges. Many craft paints are pretty opaque, so I'm going right over those black marks here. All right, so that is my hue. Now I'm going to go into my tint, the blue and white. I'm going to, you can do whatever you want with it. I'm just going to paint some stripes here. And I'll be going back with papers, make this collage. All right, so I've got some of the tint. And then let's go with the shade, the gray blue. Add a little more blue to that. Still pretty gray. Just put some lines down. Knowing I'm going to collage over a lot of it. And then I'm going with my dark shade, the blue with the black. It's very, very dark. A little more blue. Okay. This will still work though. You see hints of blue in there. All right, the fifth square. Only got four little samples here. What am I going to do with that fifth square? I am going to take my blue right out of the bottle again, and I'm going to water it down. So this is acrylic, and so I can water that down to a point where it could almost look like watercolor, right? If I mix in some water there, and it's going to give me a different look and feel in little squares or circles. So I'm going to just do some little marks, watered down. Do circles or squares or lines. All right, so that's my watered down blue. So I've got my my 5 starting points here. And get the paint out of the way here. And now I'm going to pull out the paper. And I sort a lot of my scraps, paper scraps, sort by color. So I've got big bins sorted by color, sort color. You know, there's a little bit of blue, a little bit of green, a little bit of purple in this box. But I'm going to pull out some pound papers, like security envelopes. I'm going to pull out some painted papers. I'm going to pull out some things out of the book, some gift wrap, some more painted papers, different kinds of blues. There's a map, definitely some blues there. Got a book page that I made some blue marks on. Did some printing on that as well. So I've got an assortment of blue papers that I'm just going to start, tearing and placing into my little circles. I am going to hit this with a heat gun real quick so that I'm not smearing paint all over the place. So apologies for the noise. Yeah, everything looks pretty dry except for this one for a watered down paper or watered down paint. So I'm just going to roll the towel over it just so I'm not smearing paint everywhere as I glue things down. And then I'm going to start with the map page and just tear some bits and just start gluing down. I can also go in here with some mark making or some other bits of mixed media just to pull this all together. Grid journaling is about kind of playing and seeing what direction you end up going. Nothing really starts with a big plan. It's kind of freeing, kind of fun. Don't have to put same thing in all of the squares. So I'm going to over to this scrap from Jelly Print. It's a darker blue. And maybe I'll do some cutting. Some little stripes. And glue those down. And these don't have to stay monochromatic either. So if you want to put other colors in here, that is a great way to experiment with different color combinations. I may pull out some other colors, or I may keep these monochrome. I'm not sure yet. pulling out some scraps and just seeing where I want to put them. And then shapes. So I've got a little circle punch here. Got some shapes from security envelope. And cut some of these in half. Another thing you can do, as we know this is a 2.5-inch circle, I take that 2.5-inch circle punch and I could cut just a little portion of a piece of paper here. And I know it's going to be the same angle as my circles. So if you want to get up to the edge, this is rice paper. It's a little flaking off there, little fibers. So that's kind of fun. I'm going to do another one. It's kind of a crescent moon shape. Like that. Do that again. And all the while I'm doing this, I am looking at some possibilities. You know, do I want to do the crescent moon shape right on, mimicking the outside of the circle, or maybe I want to flip it around and kind of bisect that circle. That's kind of fun. And another half circle, this paper. Overlapping to this one. And we can look at this and we can say, oh, I like that. Maybe it needs a little more something. I think me here with the crayon, and that's different blue. Dots. I echo the lines that are there already. Stripes. Subtle or stand out a bit. These are all water soluble. These are Earn Dash Color 2. These are Woody's 3 in 1. So I could go in here with a little bit of water and spread those around a bit. Something like that. If I want to go in with something different, I could see. They have a green or a purple. Those are colors that are next to the blue on the color wheel. So those I know would work. It's pretty dark. Marker, brush marker. Outline some references here. It's kind of fun. So I think you get the idea. We're basically just starting with circles instead of squares in our sketchbook. And then we're going to take one color and we're going to add white to it. We're going to add black to it. And we're going to add gray to it. And we're going to play around with those different variations of that color within our little circles. And there might be some lessons learned about, how the colors play together. And we could come in with more paint, a different color if you want. I'm trying not to go overboard with this one. I'm trying to hold back a little bit. Because sometimes I just keep going and going. And this is just kind of fun. Each circle kind of has its own personality. And you could spend some time with each circle and what you like about them, what you don't like about them. The tonal variations in addition to the variations in the color. So I'm going to hop over and see if we've got any questions in the comments. And like I said, this is a fun one because then, you do this with blue and then you could do it with yellow. You can do it with red. You can do it with, with burnt umber if you want. You're just adding black and white and gray to each of your little circle things. So anybody have any questions? Let me hop back over. Hi, Carol. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I am really happy to have you all here today watching live. If you're watching on the replay, that's okay. That's one of the reasons I moved play dates over to YouTube, is so that more people could just, find this when it's convenient for you. And so our little circle grid journal color study, I think is just a fun little warm-up. And again, I'll share, if you join Collage Coaching Week by, let's say a couple hours after we finish the live today, if you join by then, you will get 7 different color warm-up exercises. A little workbook I put together called Color Wins. And I think that is going to be fun. Let me put the link here to sign up for Coaching Week. It starts next Sunday, the 20th of July, and runs for 7 days. It is just $10. There's a lot of training you're going to get. Plus, it's going to have its own private community, so you can share your work, you can get to know each other, all of that. If you've got any questions at all, let me know in the comments about Collage-Lab, about Collage Coaching Week, or about today's project. And I am going to do the giveaway now. Anybody that registered in advance of this play date over on the website, anybody that registered, I put your name on a random spinning wheel. Last time I did this live, the spinning wheel didn't show up, so I went ahead and ran the wheel, and I will show you the results. The winner, what does the person win, Kelly? The winner today is going to get 1 month free inside our membership, $30 value, and I will reach out to you and get you all signed up for a month inside our membership. You'll have so much fun. Trust me, you will have so much fun. And so let me announce that winner. Lisa, you are the winner of 1 free month inside the Collage-Lab membership. Congratulations. Look for an email in just a bit. Give me a couple hours maybe. Look for an email that welcomes you and shows you how to get inside our membership platform and all the fun things. So let me go ahead and do that. Turn that off. And any other questions? Let me see what else we've got in the comments. Yay, Lisa. Yeah, I don't know if Lisa's watching live, but if she's not, I will email her and let her know that she has won. And I appreciate all of you, whether you're watching live or on the replay. I thank you so much for joining us today. And let me pop that off. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing all of you next week, starting Sunday in Collage Coaching Week. Invite your friends too. It's so much more fun to create when you've got an art buddy, and it's only $10. So sign up today. If you sign up in the next couple hours, I will send you that bonus of the Color Wins exercises. Thank you for being here with me today. I look forward to seeing you again. Do a monthly play date here. Diana says, thanks. I like the idea of the circle grid. Yeah, it makes our mind kind of treat it a little different. We don't go back to all the same old tricks that we do if we're working on a square grid. So kind of pushes the boundaries there, so to speak. Thanks for being here, Joe. Lisa says, welcome to the new Lisa. Yes, thanks everybody. And I will see you all again real soon.